Have you ever looked at your LinkedIn feed and wonder why certain people show up in your news feed all of the time? Today, I want to talk with you about the LinkedIn algorithm and some really interesting tips that I learned recently from Pete Davies, the Senior Director of Product Management at LinkedIn. He wrote a post all about the algorithm and how it works, and I'm going to share those tips with you today. If you don't know me, I'm Samantha Russell from 20 over 10, and let's dive right into those 4 takeaways from Pete. So the first takeaway is that hashtags do matter, but you don't want to use more than 3 hashtags per post. So what Pete said is that hashtags are really powerful in helping people comb through all the content and find content that is interesting to them, relevant to what they want to follow. However, when you use more than 3 hashtags, you dilute the power of any single one, right? So if you have 20 hashtags on a post, you're going to have a lot less association between your hashtag and your content because you have 20 of them, whereas if you only have 3, it's a lot more powerful. So keep it to 3 or less when it comes to hashtags. The second thing that Pete shared is that tagging also does help, right? So if you use the little @ symbol and tag other people in your posts or in the comments, that's a great way to get your post seen by a lot more people as well. However, he also mentioned paying attention to the total number of people you tag. You only want to tag people that are actually relevant to the conversation, number 1. And number 2, you want to keep it to 5 or less tags per post. So that's tip number 2. The third tip and piece of advice that Pete gave was to be more niche versus broad. So for instance, if you're a financial advisor and you work with retirees, you know, people preparing for retirement planning, you wouldn't want to just talk about retirement planning because that's too broad of a topic. You might want to focus it down to retirement planning for small business owners because that's somebody you help, right? And the hashtags that you use, again, you want to be much more niche focused. For instance, here at 20 over 10, we don't just specialize in website design and marketing, but website and design and marketing for those in the financial services industry. So the more niche you can be, the better chance you have of your content hitting the right people. And the fourth tip is just something more generally about the way that LinkedIn looks at your connections and the power of who should see your posts. So Pete did say that, of course, when they are looking at who to show what content to in the algorithm, because some people have so many first-degree connections and they also follow so many companies, they have to be able to prioritize it even further than that, right? So what they look at is, let's say somebody who's a first-degree connection follows the hashtag digital marketing, and you post a piece of content and you also use the hashtag digital marketing in your content, then your post will almost certainly be much more likely to show up in that first degrees connections feed, right? Because they follow you as a connection and they also are following the hashtag that you're posting in. So this just helps us kind of make more sense of when we see content in our feed and why certain posts get elevated more than others. So I hope these tips were helpful for you today. If you want more digital marketing tips, specifically for financial advisors or small business owners, head over to our YouTube page and subscribe. We share videos every week, and we hope that you have a great week.